Okay, so this is called Personnel Training on Health and Hygiene. And so its purpose is to train all of us processing workers on what's expected for personal health and hygiene when working in the facility. So there's cleanliness. All persons working in contact with food, food contact surfaces, and product packaging materials, AG, making bags, must adhere to hygienic practices while on duty to prevent alteration of product and creation of insanitary conditions. Here's this word, insanitary conditions. That's like kind of their definition of things. So I need you to be clean. Anytime you're handling product, food contact surfaces, or the bags that the product's going to go into, or the totes. So clothing, aprons, frocks, other outer clothing worn by the person who handles the product must be a material that is disposed of or readily cleaned. You know, basically just saying things that go in that processing facility are dedicated to that processing facility. Whether you get your own brand of stuff and leave them here, or whether you wear frocks and boots that I provide, either way is fine as long as it's dedicated to that facility and it's clean. Hair nets, beard nets, or beard coverings. Micah has his bandana that he wears, and I think that's acceptable. The next issue is disease control. Any person who appears to have infectious disease, open wounds, boils, sores, infected wounds, any other abnormal source of microbial contamination cannot work with product. So if you're having something like that going on, you need to let one of the managers know. And then we need to either, you know, if it's infectious, you can't work with product and can't work with bags. And basically, I don't have a lot of other jobs to do. So you just have to go home and get better and not like transmit it to the food and not transmit it to everyone else. All processing workers must remove jewelry that could contaminate poultry products, watches, especially things around your wrist, watches, bracelets, and use of tobacco, eating, drinking, other personal habits which may result in unsanitary conditions of exposed poultry shall not be permitted in processing room. For our own safety and for the safety of the food. Like, people are the most at risk of contaminating that product. Especially this guy right here.
Definitely.
We have signs that are posted identifying like the processing areas, and so I've tried to really restrict how strict we need to be about how we operate to those rooms, this break room and hallway. And even that room is not part of the processing facility. You don't have to, you know, do the whole boot, frock, you know, hairnet thing, all of that when dealing with these other areas. But when dealing with the processing areas, you do. It talks about when, you know, tours happen, they basically cannot go in that processing area unless they decide that they're going to boot up and frock up and hairnet up and all of that. Which will help people not be right in our faces, I hope, but they will peer in the windows, as we've seen them do. So the big one is how we go about going from the kill room to the gut room. And if we go from this room to that room, we have to kind of go out and around, or come out of the kill room, go into this room, wash our boots, deal with change our frocks. Like, that room is separate than this room. And when you're going from this room to that room, you know, at the end of the day, end of the processing day, when I go from there into there and start cleaning, it's not as big of a deal. I'm going from a cleaner environment to a dirtier environment. When you're going from a dirty environment to a clean environment, then we have to take these steps of like wash our boots, change our frocks. So whatever it is, like if you find yourself walking in there, you know, like stop and think about why you're going in there, and then, you know, let's set it up so that you don't have to. You know, minimize that as much as possible. You just have to be careful about it. You have to, take off that frock, hang it up in the your break room, get a new frock, wash your boots, wash your hands, change your gloves, come in. I have to show that we are conscious about the bacteria load from that room, keeping it in that room, and not transferring any bacteria that we don't need to transfer into this other gutting room. And then before you leave the processing room, we rinse our apron, rinse our boots, take our gloves off, throw them away, take the apron off, hang it up, wash our hands, stand in the boot tray, leave.